Story 1. The fictional food. The food you tell everyone you bought and were really looking forward to sharing with everyone, but which you left on the kitchen counter this morning. Story 2. I attended a white elephant gift exchange where a person can pick an available gift or steal another person's gift over several rounds and brought what I thought would be a gag gift. A bag of tangerines. They cost maybe $3 for 15, and I figured it would be annoying for the person to have to carry around after gifting. Those tangerines were the hit of the exchange. People were tripping over themselves to steal them from each other. They took what I intended to be a thoughtless, banal, and slightly insulting gift and made it the hit of the party. Your office seems like it will be full of these kinds of people. Bring some tangerines. Story 3. Our office potluck yesterday had an interesting turn of events. More than one person went to McDonald's for nuggets and ran into each other in line. One got nuggets, one got fries, and one got cheeseburgers. Another person independently brought a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Story 4. Fortune cookies. Not a bunch of the same brand ones, but a collection of fortune cookies saved up from months of Chinese takeout, sushi, etc. It requires planning ahead, but it will be worth it. Bonus points for sauce packets too. Story 5. I used to work in cookbook publishing. There were always multiple holiday parties, so the snooty food enthusiasts employed by the various brands housed in our building could try to outdo each other with whatever they brought. I overheard my managing editor relaying the story of a woman who worked there years before my time. Apparently, there were 3 parties in 1 year, and this lady made one huge cheese ball. She reshaped it after each party and brought it to the next one. People caught on when they noticed the cheese ball becoming just slightly smaller and misshapen each time. Legend. Story 6. I worked at a distribution center for a certain grocery store chain. We had a coworker bring a pre-made pie from our rival grocery store. Edit. Forgot to add that the distribution center manager discovered the pie, became very upset, and threw it away. Story 7. I'm a little late to this party, but this year a guy I work with brought a gallon of milk but no cups. He said somebody always brings soda, but he doesn't drink soda. I've seen him drinking soda. We just think he needed milk at home and didn't expect anybody to drink it. Well, surprise, Dave. I had cups in my truck I forgot to bring in from a party last week. We drank all his milk. Story 8. At my last work Christmas party, one of our quite socially awkward mathematics teachers brought beets as his dinner item to share. They were not cooked or prepared in any way, just a bunch of beets still in that plastic vegetable bag you get from the produce aisle. He was fired soon after for unrelated but unsurprising reasons. To answer your questions, he was fired because his performance did not match up with the rigorous expectations of the private school. We all kind of saw it coming. As a fan of The Office, I'm now kicking myself for missing the obvious Dwight Schrute parallels at the time. Story 9. This reminds me of when I was a substitute teacher. For the holiday party, there was a list of food items everyone could sign up to bring something. Since I was a substitute, I wasn't on the email list and didn't know about the signups. The day before, the secretary said, "We noticed you didn't sign up to bring something. It's a tradition for us every year to get a tray of sandwiches from this specific deli. This is what you need to order when you call," and handed me a list. I looked at their menu online, and the order was going to be over $60. It made me so mad because 1, I never got a chance to sign up in advance, and 2, I was earning less than half of what everyone else earned and got pegged with the most expensive thing on the list. People making over double what I made were bringing things like chips and bottled water. I had been getting treated unfairly in other ways at the school and was having a bad experience and saw this as another slap in the face. It was so disrespectful. I went to a corner store by my house, got the 2 falafel wraps for $6 special, cut them up into small pieces, wrote "sandwich tray" on the container, dropped them off in the party room, didn't attend the party, stopped working at that school soon after. Heard everyone at the party was pretty upset that the usual sandwiches weren't there. Also heard they had a hard time finding another substitute after I stopped going. Felt good. Treat the employees on the low rung of the ladder with respect, especially if they're doing things that are important to your company. Story 10. We had a potluck and a coworker brought a big dish of white rice. No sauces or sides. Just rice. Absolute mad lad. For further information, it was a potluck focusing on different cultural dishes. And the guy was Asian, so he definitely nailed it. Also, the rice was great. Story 11. Had a potluck on Thanksgiving one year. The place I worked at never closes. And a coworker said he would bring yams. He showed up with a large can of yams and didn't even bring a can opener. He won the Passive-Aggressive Employee of the Year award that year. Story 12. Lutefisk. Beam with pride and share the story about how you talked your grandmother into sharing the family recipe brought over from Norway. It has that wonderful personal touch. Until they taste it. Story 13. One year, someone brought a sausage pizza from Domino's to a breakfast potluck. Clearly, it was last night's delivery mistake because the person who brought it was vegetarian. Story 14. Open a can of kidney beans, in water, no sauce, and put them in a bowl with toothpicks next to it. If you have time, drain the can and place the kidney beans on a fancy silver platter, spreading them out with toothpicks vertically inserted into each bean. The extra effort should overcome anyone's instinctive reaction to question why you did it and if cold kidney beans are even good or tasty to eat. It should look like a natural party platter dish, and your coworkers will eat cold, non-cooked kidney beans. Story 15. A guy who used to work in our office brought a bag of pistachios as a snack. He then brought it for the next few years until another coworker opened the bag. The pistachio guy was mad that he had to buy another bag of pistachios. Story 16. I gave my girlfriend a bag of Christmas candied cereal to take to her party at work. I opened it and hated it because it stuck to my teeth so badly. I will update with results in the morning. Story 17. Not a food, but like napkins, paper plates, stuff like that. I always felt you could make a pretty good Saturday Night Live skit of an unenthusiastic office potluck where literally nobody brings food. It's just a big pile of napkins, plastic utensils, paper plates, solo cups, etc. Story 18. A too small bag of low-sodium unbuttered popcorn. Bonus points if you can open a tiny corner of the bag the night before to push that stale flavor to the maximum. Story 19. Once had a coworker write on the sign-up sheet, "I can't, it's butter." We were all excited to find out what it meant. He brought a spray bottle of, "I can't believe it's not butter," which we think is meant for spraying pans before cooking. He also took it home afterward. Story 20. Tortilla chips with no dip or the other way around. Oh, a bag of baby carrots in the bag they came in is also a good one. Or mini packs of raisins. I think that's the one. Story 21. Chips and dip, but something that doesn't go together like Doritos and tuna salad. Don't forget to microwave the tuna. Okay, since some people say that this isn't a bad combo, what about Doritos Limon or Blaze? Story 22. We all take turns bringing in something for most of the month of December. After a few days, everybody is just gathered in a common area every morning, waiting to see what food we're getting for the day. Some people go all out. Some people bring in a big tray of Chick-fil-A or a few bags of bagels. Sometimes it's a pot of chili, you never really know. One time, this old gentleman brought in a frozen ham and just dropped it on the big table in the morning with a loud thud, and Merry Christmas, as he walked away. Another coworker was determined to salvage it for food and whittled away at it with plastic forks and knives, microwaving it in batches to feed us. Same person, different year, a couple of bags of $1 powdered donuts. There are about a dozen of us in the office who participate in this monthly feasting. Same person, another year, half a dozen biscuits from Bojangles. He walked next door to a building with about 80 employees and invited them all over for breakfast that he brought in. I guess he thought Jesus was going to show up and break those Bojangles biscuits up to feed the multitude. The person would always enjoy everything else other people brought in and then bring in something comically bad on his day. Story 23. A McCain deep and delicious cake. I think this might only be Canadian, but I'm sure there is an American equivalent. $5. Zero effort. The best part is that it will always be completely gone by the end of the potluck. There is a special satisfaction in knowing that your colleagues worked hard to make something homemade and will be taking 3/4 of it back home with them, while you had the thing everyone wanted and did no work. I used to bring one to every single potluck at my old job, and the looks from my coworkers as my inexpensive cake was devoured always filled me with joy. Story 24. I worked with a Vietnamese guy who had said he didn't want to participate in the 4th of July potluck, as it was not his thing. Well, the office busybody hounded him every day for a week before he finally broke and said, "If I agree to participate, will you leave me alone?" She said yes. The day of the potluck, he brought in a dozen ballot. He was never asked to participate in potlucks again. Story 25. McDonald's double cheeseburgers. Just grab a bag of plain ones. Want to make it special? Cut them into quarters and put them on a plate. Guarantee they will all be eaten. Story 26. You people are all thinking too locally. You have to start thinking globally. Place a card on the table that says you donated to the food bank in their honor. Story 27. Dude, they are making you go and making you spend your own money. Forget apathy, you need to worship at the altar of chaos. Bring Haribo sugar-free gummy bears in a decorative container. Bring plenty and make sure that they are prominently displayed to encourage the most snacking. For maximum enjoyment, next you grab the out-of-order or cleaning signs and put them on all close bathrooms. You could certainly stick around for the aftermath, but you may want to bring a change of shoes. Story 28. Hey, Dave. Merry Christmas. What's that? A sandwich. Oh, you know there's food here, right? It's a potluck. Yeah. This is my contribution. You can't bring a sandwich to an office holiday party. Why not? It's food. I know it's food. That isn't the problem. You're Jewish. What? No. Even if I were, what would that have to do with anything? It's ham. It's a ham sandwich. I don't care what the filling is. How are people supposed to share it? They could just take a bite out of it, you know? It worked for me. You brought a used sandwich? Does used really apply to food? It sounds wrong. Look, word choice aside, are you seriously offering a sandwich that you've already started eating? I had to make sure it was good. You never can tell with sandwiches from gas stations. It wasn't, by the way. From a gas station? No, it wasn't good. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Where's the drinks? A used sandwich from a gas station. Story 29. My coworker was originally slated to bring turkey or a rotisserie chicken to our Thanksgiving potluck. He decided that it would be silly to be seen carrying a cooked bird on the train to work, though, so he bought some chicken nuggets instead. Our director laughed him out of the room. Story 30. Depending on where you live, many cities have Asian markets that will sell you durian, although that more sends the message, not only do I not want to be here, I also want you to not be here. For best effect, make sure the durian is cut open and has had time to thaw. Story 31. A paper bag half filled with condiment packets that you toss into the glove box along with the napkins. Thanks for the gold. Before anyone else decides they want to give Reddit more money they don't need, please just make a donation to your local animal shelter or any charity. 'Tis the season and all. Hey, piece of candy. For real though, make a donation or something. Reddit doesn't count. They're wealthy enough as it is. 3. Knock it off before I find out who you are and ship all you little ones half a bag of condiment packets. Fine, make it rain, I'll match the donation equivalent. Platinum me for a year, I swear I'll do it. Suck it, user/some sanity. I'll edit all I want. Hate me even more, user/Kumbob. Story 32. Not my story, but a family member's. An older guy brings in a delicious homemade dish. I think it was cookies. Someone tells him, "Hey man, these cookies are great." To which he responded, "Thanks, the flour was getting bugs in it, so I wanted to use it up." Story 33. I work overnight and live a half hour away from work, so dragging myself to the mandatory work events in the middle of the afternoon is already a pain. I did, however, promise my coworker a couple of weeks ago that I would make cookies for the Christmas party. The party is tomorrow, and I regret saying I'd do anything. I made cookies, but they are the most incomplete cookies I've ever made in my life, and it shows. They look bad, and they spread out too much, so they're too thin and falling apart. But whatever. I said I'd make cookies, and I did. At least they taste good. Story 34. At my girlfriend's end of the season potluck for her job this last summer, someone who had been causing drama the entire season, and somehow heard about everyone else complaining to higher-ups about her drama, Showed up just to slam a bunch of canned meats like Spam and Vienna sausages down on the table and walk right back out. Story 35. Oreo cookies. Nothing fresh baked, just a regular old package of Oreos. Bonus points if you eat a few before you turn them over to the office party planning committee. Story 36. I always bring a jar of store-brand pickles and a jar of store-brand green olives. I attend potlucks but bring my own entire meal because I've seen too many of my coworkers' photos with their cats sitting on the kitchen counter. Story 37. A crock pot full of sauerkraut. Tell everyone who will listen that it is the one thing you know how to make. After smelling it all day, no one will ask you to make food again.